Get involved.
Hello, good morning, Stanley.
Hi.
Nobody's here yet.
Or
Mm. Next week, I think you have to change the Novi for Sunday,
right.
or make it later because Shabbos will end like at 7
No,
o'clock.
we'll go back to Sunday, like 8 o'clock.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Okay, we can start. Yud.
Hmm?
We're on Yud.
Yes.
10.
And
Hi, Johnny. Good luck. Masnis and Mani Rabbanan.
Good work.
That unless you can, we're talking about when you are zochet on behalf of somebody else, you have to be able to have a kinyan in it yourself. But if the machlokas is a wealthy guy being zoche for an ani, of the may ani lani diver kol zochelo, but an ani, a poor person, both of them have the rights to the peya. Hamani lo rabban and lo rab lezer. Amar lei masnis and amar tchila. When the guy picks it up, the peya, he said in the beginning, I want to accept it for me. So he's zoche for himself. And then he's zoche for the other person. If a guy picks up something that a person riding on a horse says, here, I'm gonna pick it up and then give it to you. That we said there, it doesn't coin it. Tchila b'seifa lamali. So pshita, even if you don't say tchila, we understand that that's what it means. That he was picking it up to pick it up for himself. Alav kamashwan reisha dharma tchila. To teach me that in the reisha, he did use the word, I was zochet at first. V'idich tana seifa lugli reisha. The way Rav Nachman learns that they showed the end to see exactly what the ratio was like. Sefer da matchila ratio lo matchila, to prove to you that in the ratio they didn't say tchila. Now, Rav Nachman Rav Chizad Amar Tarvayu, Hamagbiya Metzila Chavero, Lo Kana Chavero. If you pick something up so that it's a lost object in the street, the friend does not coin it, my time, huh? Davi Toifes, somebody owes money to somebody, and I pick up for the guy who is owed the money to try to be zoicha something for him. But if there are other people that are claiming debts, it doesn't work. Unless that guy appointed a shaliach, he cannot create a pu'ula that is going to hurt somebody else. Metzias poel la'atzmo. A worker who's working for somebody finds a lost object. When he finds something, he gets to keep it. It's not that he has to give it to his employer. The employer gave him a specific job. Plow for me today, adoramim, weed for me today. He wasn't in general working for the employer. So if the worker finds something, he gets to keep it. Aval Omer, if the employer was general, Asemim lachayom, work for me today. Then mitzios shel balabayisu. If the worker finds something, it goes to the employer. So we see a worker can be zocha for somebody else. Amr lo, Rav Nachman says, don't ask a kasha. Shiny poil, the yadok yad balabais. The hand of the worker is like the hand of the balabais. He's being employed for the balabais. During that period of time, he's like the shaliach of the balabais. Avamarav poil yachol achserbo afilu b'chatzayom. A worker's not a slave. Even in the middle of the day, if he decides he doesn't want to work for him, he can leave. So why would you say that his hand is like the hand of the balabayas? Amar lei, well, kol kama de lo hader bei, as long as the worker has not withdrawn his employment from the employer, it's kiyad balabayasu, that his hand is like the balabayas. And ki hader bei, and when he leaves the employment, there's a different reason why his hand is not like the balabayas. Tichsiv, kilib ne'israel avodim. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, the children of Israel are my slaves. Avodayim v'lavodim, lavodim. Person signs a contract, he cannot, he's not his owner, and therefore he can go back on any deal. If I find a lost object, I pick it up on behalf of my friend is koine.
Ernie,
Yes.
one question. It says here no Jew can be forced to work for someone else.
Yeah, but
But
if a person's in debt, he's sold into slavery as an Eved Ivri.
Yes, and then he has to do what he's told, right? He cannot just leave.
No, because the Torah describes there a specific responsibility that the person has. He's meshubit as an Eved.
Okay. All right.
Vim Torah Mishnasenu. The Omar Tnali, V'lo Omar Zochali. There, he said, give it to me and don't be zoiche for me. If he said zoiche, he would have acquired it for him when he picks it up. Mishnah. Rosa Metziah Daf. A person sees a lost object, he falls down on it because he wants to acquire it. But it's not the regular kinyan. You're supposed to pick it up. Another person comes and does the proper kinyan. He actually did a Maisa kinyan that was halachic, so he acquires it. Amr, we're by the Mishnah on Yud Amid Aleph. We're starting the Gemara. Amr Eish Lakish, Mishum Abba Kohen Bardel. Arba Amit Shalom Kohen B'chol Makom. The 4 amas around a person, it's like a moving chutzner. Anything in that area acquires it for him, even without picking it up. My time, huh? Takin Rabbanan lost we don't want people to fight. So therefore, if you get within the 4 amas of an object, it belongs to you. Midin chotzer. Amr Abaya, Moisef, Rav Chia bar Yosef, Mipeya. He asked a question from Peah. And Amr Rav Moisef Rav Yaakov bar Idi min Ezekiel. And what is this? Amr Rabbi Moisef Rav Chia bar Yosef Mipeya. Not all mixes Peah, the Zork al-Ashar. He picks up some of the corner harvest and he throws the rest on the other stuff in order to kona it. Ein lo klum. Throwing it on something, that's not a kinyan. Nafalo aleh. If he fell on it, or pars taliso aleh, mavino so a minute, that's not a good kinyan. But what about the chen be'oimra shikha? An oni is following along and picking up things that are forgotten. You cannot acquire this way. But if a person has a sort of a surrounding area of Arba Amis that's coined for him, let these items acquire to him because of the Arba Amis. Here we see it's not coined. If he would have said, my Dalad Amish should be koina, he would have been koina. Since he didn't say it, he did some action, but it was not an official Kenyan action, it doesn't work. Be talking Rabbana Kilomer Mayavi. If Chachami made a takana that a person's Arba Oimis should be koina for him, and he doesn't say kana, it still should have, the takana should have allowed it to acquire it for him even without him saying something, based on the takana's chachamim. So the Gemara says perhaps, but kiva do nafal, goli daita de benefila nichle de nikni, but arba meslo nichle de nikni. He fell on the item, obviously showing that he wanted to acquire it through that mechanism and not with the arba amos. So if he would have been silent, that would have been better. Papa Omar, Kitakinu le Rabbanon Arba Amos. When the Chacham made this takon of Arba Amos, that's usually Ba'alma in a Makam Hefker that doesn't belong to anybody. But Besada the Balabai is not the Kinu Rabban. But if it's a field of somebody else, your Arba Amos is not going to acquire something. Va'afagav dezachale Rachmana begavei. For example, the Torah allows an ani to collect peah in somebody else's field. The Torah wants you to walk there and take it in a proper kinyan. But the Takanas Chachamim, the Torah didn't create this concept that your chotzer should be zoicha. So it's not a kasha from peah. Rav Moisef Rav Yaakov Reidi min Ezekiel from our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says, Rasa Metziah Daf. Person is walking, he sees a lost item in the street, he falls on it. That's not a proper kinyan mechanism. Somebody comes by and picks it up and does hakbah. Not the first guy. Why? If the Arba Amos surrounding a person is going to be coined for somebody, who cares whether he fell on it? His Arba Amos would have acquired it for him. So the Gemara says that's not a kasha. He didn't say, I want to be coined it. So, Vitakinu Rabbanan Kilomer Mayavi. But the Chachamim made a takon of Arba Amos, even if he didn't say it, it should acquire it for him. So again, we answer, Kiva denafal alei. He did like an act against his own best interest. Kiva denafal alei, gali daita dem nefila nichle de nikni, but Arba Amos lo nichle de nikni. He's showing he didn't want to use the takon of arba amis. He wanted to use nefila. Nefila happens, doesn't work. He doesn't know that. Rav Sheshis Amar, Kita Kinarabanon, that's besitna, like a narrow street, the Lodachki Be Rabbi, not a lot of public is there. So we could say temporarily, his Arba Amos acquires for him. But B'Shus Rabim, the Kodachki Rabim Lotakinu Rabbanon. But the Chachamim did not make the Takon of Arba Amos in Rishus Rabim. V'habachol Mokum Ka'omar, but the halacha says in any place, even Rishus Rabim. Lasui af tzidei Rishus Rabim, the sides of Rishus Rabim. But Mabish Rishus Rabim, it doesn't work. Amrish Lakish Misham Abakoin Bardel. Ktana ein la chotzer. A minor ktana, she doesn't have this din of a chotzer. It doesn't acquire for her. Ve'ein la arba amos. And she doesn't have this arba amos either. Rav Yochanan Mishum Rav Yana Amar yesh la chotzer v'yesh la arba amos. Ktana has din chotzer and has arba amos. But my kamifki, what's the machlokes? Mar sovar chotzer mishum yada yisraboy. The din that a chotzer acquires for you is because your hand acquires. Ki heichid yisli yad chotzer dam yisli. A ketana has a yad, so she has a chotzer. Mar sovar, the one who says that she doesn't have a chotzer. Chotzer mishum shlichus yisraboy. The fact that a person's courtyard acquires for you, it has midin shlichus, like you send a shaliach. A Tan is not a bardas. She can't appoint a shaliach. So if it's totally in shlichus, she can't, a chotzer doesn't work for her. Are there people who hold that a chotzer acquires because of shlichus? Vatanya. It says, Himatzei timatzei biyado hagneva mishorat chamor atzechayim shnayim yishalek. If you find a stolen object in his hand, he has to pay kefil. Ainli eliyodo. I might think you have to find it in his hand. Legago chatzer karfifo. What if you find the gneva in his roof, in his courtyard, in his attic? Wherever you find it. If a person's chotzer is because of shlichus, well then, matzina shliach l'dvar veira. We normally know there's a rule, ain't shlichus l'dvar veira. But if a chotzer is his shliach and it goes back to him, then there is shlichus l'dvar veira. But kaimala, we know ain't shlichus l'dvar veira. Of Ravina, there's no kasha from there. When do we say, for example, I tell somebody, go murder that guy, and he murders the guy. That guy is killed as a rotzech, not me. The Avera doesn't go back to the one who sends. When do we say that? When the shliach himself is a bar chiyuv. So the chiyuv falls on him. But a chotzer is not a person. The lav bar chiyuvahu, machayev sholcho. So if I'm a ganef and I put that which I stole, my chotzer, the aver goes back to me. So we ask on Ravina, Elameata, ha'omer li'isha ve'eved suva ganvuli. You told an isha and an eved, go and steal from me. Now, lav nechiyuvininu. They don't have assets from their own to be al-chanami de mechayev sholchan. Are you going to say that the responsibility to pay goes back to the guy who sent them? The din is that an Isha and Eved themselves have to pay back. So I'm an Isha ve'Eved, yeah. B'nei Chiyuv. But they, halachically, have to do mitzvahs, and they're bar chiyuv. So that's not a proof against what we've been learning. They don't have assets to pay back. But once they get assets, the woman inherits money. The Eved is freed at that point. They have to pay back what they stole. Right? It's not nizgar shayisha. Or nishtachra Eved, chayav l'shalim. Rav Sama Amar, differentiation. Hey, Chamina, Ein Shlich L'Dvar Veira. What's the gather of Ein Shlich L'Dvar Veira? Hey, Chadi boy Ovid vi boy Lovid. The has to be free will. The Shaliach has to be able to choose to do it or not do it. Now, Chotzer, the Baal Korcha Moisiv, a Chotzer doesn't have free will. You put the stolen object in the Chotzer, he has no choice to vomit it out. So then Mechayev Sholcho. Now, what's the difference in the reasons given, whether it's because that he has free will, or whether they're bar chiyuv? My binayu. Ik binayu, a Kohen says to Yisrael, save a kaddish liisha grusha. Kohen cannot marry grusha. Kohen tells a Yisrael, go be my shaliach to be Mekadosh's grusha. Or inami, ish to amar lo leisha akfili cotton. A man tells the woman, go shave the payas of this cotton. Now the isser to shave pay is only on men, not women. Now, according to Lachlish the Amar Kolechadi Iboy Ovid, Iboy Loy Ovid, where the determination of Ein Shlich L'Dvar Veira has to do with whether a person has the free will to do it, Lo Machayv Shlucho. Then the Shliach would do it. Hachanami, Iboy Ovid, Iboy Loy Ovid. The Shliach could here in both of these cases choose to do it or not. So the Shaleach would not be Mechayev. But La'achlish Na'ama Kolecha the Shliach Lav B'Chiyuv Mechayev Sholcho, where we said whenever the Shaliach is a person who is not in that parsha of Chiyuvim, then the Aver goes back to the guy who sent him. Well, a Yisrael does not have a prohibition to marry a Grusha. He's not in that Chiyuv. And Isha is not prohibited to do Hakafa. Even the Lav Nechiyavinu, Mechayev Sholchan. There maybe the Chiyuv would go back. So that would be an nafkamina between the two svaras. Do you have an opinion? Because we said a chotzer acquires for somebody either because we view it as a shaliach of the person, or it's an extension of his hand. So the Gemara seems to say that everyone holds it's an extension of his hand. Because Vatanya, it says, "V'kosav la sefer krisus v'nasan biyada." A husband has to give a divorce instrument into the hand of his wife. Ainli ala yada mamish. I might think you have to put it in her hand. Gaga chatzer v'karfifa minai. What if you put it in her on her roof in her chatzer? So we see chatzers is al siyad. So the Gemara says, fine, I agree. Regarding giving a get, everybody else, a chotzer has to do with yad. We're talking about when you find a lost object, and the lost object is in your chotzer. Can it acquire? How does it acquire? Does it have midin yad or midin shlichus? We'll deal with it tomorrow. Okay, I will call
tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're going to learn at 7:30.
Okay.
By the way, next week we'll probably move the Navi Shir to Sunday night, 8 p.m. like we used to, because otherwise it's going to be too late on Saturday night. Tomorrow, next
Okay.
week, we'll do the Daf Yomi in Shul before Mincha like we normally do in the summer
Okay.
month. And then no Navi Shir Motzei Shabbat.